These Spokane Area Fires are having unexpected impacts on veterans after the VA Medical Center here had to evacuate. More details tonight. And FEMA has asked the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency to remove hazardous household materials from burned homes in the Spokane area. How that impacts people going back into evacuation zones, coming up.
Our air quality issues continue to linger, but I'm also tracking a chance for isolated thunderstorms and red flag warnings. Where and who could feel the impacts tonight in your forecast?
Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News at 5 tonight. I'm Mark Hanrahan. First up tonight, all evacuations were lifted today connected to the Spokane Area Fires thanks to successful firefighting efforts in those fires. So take a look. You can see from the county's evacuation map, there are no evacuation zones still in place at this hour. That is certainly a welcome sight to see after 10 days of evacuations. Crews clearly getting the upper hand on containment, working on the Spokane Area Fires. The Autumn Lane Fire is now 89% contained. The Old Trails Fire is still 73% contained, while the Fairview Fire is 97% contained. As those fires wind down and fire crews head to more urgent burns across the Northwest, thousands of people are returning home for the first time since those evacuations. All right, before we get to more information on those fires, I want to get to some breaking news right now. There's been a shooting on a bus in North Spokane. KREM 2's Brandon T. Jones is live at the scene tonight to explain what happened. Brandon?
Hey there, Mark. Well, this is what a typical day at Franklin Park should sound like. You hear the water and the splash pad right here behind me. There's several families just enjoying the nice day, the air quality that's a little bit better than the days past. But earlier today, it was anything but a normal day. There were several police vehicles, flashing lights, and an active investigation. Actually, just a few moments ago, we saw the last police cruiser just exit the scene, so it does look like their work here is officially done for the day. But according to STA and the Spokane Police Department, it was around 12:20 earlier today when an STA bus driver who was driving on southbound of Division right here near Queen, he heard a loud noise that he described as a gunshot. The driver then looked back. He saw a teen bent over. Then 4 teens, including that same teen we just mentioned, they got off of the bus. The driver then proceeded to the next stop to make sure all passengers were out of harm's way. SPD arrived about 6 minutes after that initial report, and video footage on the bus indicated the discharge, the firing of that weapon, was accidental.
So my first concern was, to pull up on the scene of a dead body and my son to see something like that. So yeah, that was the biggest concern.
That gentleman's name right there, Paul Gilbert. He was a bystander here at Franklin Park. He was out here with his kids a little bit earlier. But as for the teenagers involved, SPD says one suffered an apparent gunshot wound to the arm following the discharge. Officers provided some medical care here on scene. Medics responded for the victim with, quote, non-life-threatening injuries. Police also located potential evidence on the bus and say this event appears to be contained to the 4 people that police had contact with. Another quick note really quick, STA tells me they're thankful for the quick response from law enforcement. Again, about 6 minutes after that initial report from the first shot fired. And then they also say they are thankful for the quick thinking and the professionalism of this bus driver, because they were able to make sure all of the passengers were safe and then also get that law enforcement contacted. For now, they're reporting live here at Franklin Park. Brandon T. Jones, KREM 2 News.
All right, Brandon, thank you very much. Time now for our first check of the forecast at 5 o'clock with meteorologist Cody Proctor. Cody, we are once again under a KREM 2 weather impact alert.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Mark. And as we continue to head into tomorrow, we've had, I would almost say, weather impact alert fatigue at this point, but there are reasons for it. Recently, it's been the air quality. Now we're keeping track of an increased chance for fire danger tomorrow as we see a potential for isolated thunderstorms for us, especially throughout parts of northern Washington into North Idaho. So you can see what we have right here for this red flag warning. This will kick off at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. Will stay in effect until tomorrow night for that chance for those scattered showers and thunderstorms potentially. We'll see if any rainfall that comes from this will be enough to stop any potential new fire starts if they do start, but we are looking also at that potential for some gusty to erratic winds as well. One thing that could actually impact things might actually be our smoke. We'll see if that will be enough to hinder the development of any thunderstorms. Over at Spokane Airport, we're at 85 degrees at this time, still incredibly dry with that relative humidity. The winds coming out the south-southwest at 9 miles per hour around our region, mostly into the 80s right now. For the next 12 hours here in Spokane, we're looking to be fairly quiet. But again, we do have that potential for those winds to pick up for us tomorrow, along with that chance for some isolated thunderstorms into our late afternoon and evening hours. Watching that pretty closely. It still could be smoky though as we head into tomorrow as well. Temperatures for the rest of this week, mostly into the 80s. I'll have more coming up in your full forecast.
Cody, thank you very much. Just about an hour ago, the Spokane Regional Health Department held a news conference to announce an emergency order related to people going back home after the evacuations. At the request of the state of Washington, the Federal Emergency Management Agency has asked the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency to remove hazardous household items. The order is meant to keep people safe from toxic materials in those fires impacted in those neighborhoods.
For homeowners, the most important thing I want you to know is this: you do not need to take any action. Fire damaged properties are automatically included, so cleanup can begin as quickly as possible and unnecessary delays can be avoided. We want to be able to bring you back home.
The city of Spokane wants to remind residents that personal protective equipment is available to those returning home following new evacuation downgrades. 2 truckloads of food arrived in the Spokane area for local food banks to support those impacted by the fires. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints sent over a variety of nutritious, shelf-stable options like canned chicken, vegetables, soup, and fruit.
Probably the biggest natural disaster we've had in the Spokane area. Our heart goes out to those individuals who've lost their homes. We feel very deeply for those individuals.
So they're sending in a huge shipment of food today, and that will help us help the fire victims here, because we've had over 200 fire victims come to our brick and mortar location here in the valley, but we've also served over 100 families off-site with our mobile sites.
Both Second Harvest Inland Northwest and Partners INW received 38,000 pounds to strengthen wildfire relief efforts. The Man Grandstaff VA Medical Center is beginning to return to normal operations after wildfire conditions forced that facility to evacuate last week. Some services reopened on Monday, with more expected to come back online today. The closure created challenges for veterans who rely on the VA for medications and medical care. Our Connor McAvoy spoke with one Spokane veteran about his experience. Connor?
Yeah, for veterans who depend on the VA for their medications, evacuations from the Old Trails fire created another worry on top of an already uncertain week. We managed to speak to one who's lived in Spokane for roughly 40 years, who says the experience was scary and hopes he'll never have to deal with the uncertainty again.
Come Saturday, I knew the VA hospital was closed, and I started worrying about other veterans.
Martin Egan is a Coast Guard veteran who's called Spokane home for more than 40 years. He says he was running low on medication for chronic back and neck pain when the closure started. But Egan says he prepared for a situation like this.
I always had a backup plan that this might happen someday, so I did put some medicine inside in case that happened, and it did happen.
Even though Egan was prepared, he still thought about other veterans who may not have been.
I was really worried about the veterans that need heart medicine and diabetes. I was thinking about them a lot and hoping that they were going to be okay.
The VA says it began getting prescriptions processed and mailed out as services were restored. Now the medical center is working its way back towards normal operations. The VA says employees returned Monday, with several clinics and services reopening. Other services, including urgent care, outpatient clinics, the lab, pharmacy, and diagnostic imaging, were expected to reopen today. The operating room and endoscopy are expected to remain closed through tomorrow. Egan says his medication arrived Friday, a few days after he first started worrying about the closure.
I hope it gets back to normal.
For now, he's thankful plans for care are moving in a positive direction, hoping the experience will make the VA and veterans be better prepared for unexpected emergencies as time goes on.
I'm hoping maybe in the future that the VA hospital will have a backup plan right away.
Now, the VA says operations can still change depending on wildfire and emergency conditions. Veterans with scheduled appointments are being asked to watch for communication from their care teams and check VA Spokane's communication channels for the latest updates. We reached out for comment on its closure and reopening plans, but have not heard back. Connor McAvoy, KREM 2 News.
Connor, thank you. Still ahead, we are keeping you updated on the big fires burning around Washington State. Still ahead, coming up at 5 tonight. Meantime, in Chelan County, the Little Giant fire continues to grow with winds whipping on that one. We'll show you coming up in a few moments.